It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for some new music to talk about, and that's what's landing you right here on the Bravado. Maybe you're a fan of the hard rock and roll lifestyle. Well, get ready to rock as we bring you on in to learn more about the eighth and final studio album from the four-piece hard rock band Godsmack. My God, thinking about this eighth and final studio album as this was announced, they're looking to take time away from doing the touring, take time away from writing the music, maybe not coming back at all. This is maybe not goodbye forever, but this is a so long farewell. Maybe we'll see you down the road kind of discussion here when we're talking about this band. This is a band I definitely grew up on. This is a band I was introduced to in high school. Their first album dropped. I remember the first track that I ever heard from them was the song Whatever. Better Go Away. Yeah, you bet. That album got me hooked on these guys, and that's what drew me in. I have seen them countless times. Countless times, about 4 times at this point in my career, and every single time they absolutely bring it. They absolutely deliver. Godsmack has been on fire ever since the beginning, always giving us great, hard-hitting, hard rock music. And you know what? Lighting Up the Sky, is it any different? Well, stay tuned to find out. We're going to break down every single track on this record, let you guys know all about it. So the album starts off with one of the songs that was early released. This was starting to hit the airwaves, especially on if you have SXM radio. Octane in particular. Hello to all my Octane listeners out there and everybody working over at Octane. Big shout out to you guys for being able to drop this great music and getting it out to the public. My apologies. First track on this album is the song You and I, pretty much the second track that I believe that Sully Erna gave to the world from this album. And again, this song is solid. It kicks off this album into great high gear. This is exactly what you want to lift you up as you're getting into the mood for a Godsmack album. You're getting rocking. You're getting those fists pumping. You get that blood boiling. It's a Friday night. You're ready to rock. Maybe you've got your glass of JD off to the side and you're going to throw up those horns. It's time to start headbanging, and that's what You and I delivers. It delivers a rocking, hard-hitting track right off the get-go. And you know what? The fun doesn't stop there. As we roll into the second track of the album, and that is Red, White, and Blue. And this one, basically, Sully and the band are starting to question what has happened to their country. It's not quite what they remember it, but despite all that, despite all the shade and everything like that being thrown against their particular country, this base being the United States of America, he's going to stand by it anyway, because that is the country he lives in, and he's going to stand proud of where he comes from, stay proud of his roots, and that's exactly what he is doing here with the track Red, White, and Blue. Up next is the first single that was released off this album, and again, thank you to Sully and to Octane for making this available quite some time ago. This song is awesome, Surrender. This one hits hard. This one hits great. It's catchy. It's hooky. This is exactly what you expect from a first single off of this album. This was fantastic work from the band. This one is going to be one of those ones that's memorable, going to be played in concerts. People are going to enjoy it. I mean, if you're a Godsmack fan in any way, I can't see that there's any way you're going to dislike this track. Surrender is a kick-ass track on this album. The hard hits don't stop from there. We roll on over to What About Me, another hard hitter on this album. Man, we're 4 for 4, packing punches, bringing the heat. This album is fired right up, living up to everything that Godsmack is all about. And again, the guitar solos on here are just absolutely phenomenal. A lot of the musical pieces are just well structured, well put together, and this is starting to just really rock. You're getting into it. We roll on over then into a ballad, a slower track. This one using a very nice piano piece to accompany it, and some great, solid, poetic storytelling here from Sully Erna within the song Truth. Truth is a very impactful song. I can imagine that if they're going to pick, there's a couple of tracks on here that are more ballad-like that I think could live up to the some of the best ballads that Godsmack has ever produced, and they've had some really great big hits in that category. I think that this one is one of those ones that can do that kind of thing. I can see the radios all over the world picking this up, getting it on the airwaves, people digging it, even if they're not always the biggest of Godsmack fans. It's just not normally their type of style. You know what? Give this one a chance, because again, this is going to be one of those ones where you're like, hey, I don't care for the band, but I love this dude. Hardcore fans of the band, though, at the same time, if you know the ballads of Godsmack and you appreciate and love them, adore them like I do, then Truth is the song for you. It's fantastic. Now, we roll on over to song 6, and there's nothing wrong with song 6, Hell's Not Dead. It just really is that filler track for me, and that's where it stands. It is that middle of the road filler track. A lot of bands have them. It's nothing that you're ever going to hear continuous play. Nobody's going to be clamoring for it. It's not a bad song. There's nothing horrible about it, nothing wrong with it. Something about it just isn't as strong as the rest of the material featured within Lighting Up the Sky. So again, Hell's Not Dead, worth a listen to? Hell yeah, for sure it is. Go give it a chance. Just not going to blow your mind or make you really want to go out of your way to get the entire album by any means. We then roll over into the next single that has just been dropped in support of this album. We're talking about Souls on Fire. And oh man, this one, do you want to talk about catchy? This one, and I say catchy a lot. I want to talk about hooks, and hooks and songs are that thing that hooks you in and grabs you. That's what the radio's looking for a lot of the time. The airwaves want those hooks to grab the average listener's attention, something that they're going to remember. And that's what this song has. The chorus to this song, very easy to sing along to, very easy to figure out what is being said, but to get along with the music, just start bobbing your head and singing it. One listen through it already, I'm singing alongside Sully Erna upon second listen to this track, because that's how easy it was to catch on. There's greatness within simplicity, and simplicity is what hooks you with this particular track. Souls on Fire is going to be played. People are going to love it. This is going to be a big hit for the band. I'm sure of that. We go on over to Let's Go. We get the place rocking. This is hard rock. It's upbeat. But yeah, here we go. Marching on. This one really hits hard, and that's what we want. That's where we're getting it. The album again, it's coming up on that upswing, picking up, getting you hooked right back in. And then we go on over to where the album takes an interesting turn. And I'm talking about interesting in very many ways, because we're talking about the band's 8th and possible final studio album here. And we go over to a song called The Best of Times. And this really felt like a thank you to the fans. And I could be wrong. I mean, this is my assumption that I'm making from what I heard within the lyrics upon listening to this, is that this is a thank you to the fans for everything they've done and supported and been there through all the times, but made it the best of times for the group as a whole throughout their entire career so far. And yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful track. This is going to be a track that's going to, it's going to be towards the end of shows in support of this album and everything like that. And I think people are just, especially longtime fans of the band are just it's going to hit home with them. It's going to make you feel right about there listening to this one, but at the same time, it still rocks. So it's a good rock song on top of it all. Then we go to another ballad. And again, this one, another one of those ones that I could see the airwaves picking up. I think that Truth might be the better option in terms of the one released as a single, but Growing Old might be the one direction they go as well too, because another solid ballad song. It kind of gives you that feeling. Again, I'm a 40-year-old man. I'm starting to understand where they're coming from. Growing old makes a lot of sense. I had this track come out on their first album, and I was trying to listen to it when I was just a wee little teenager. Well, let's not kid ourselves. I was never a wee little teenager, but Growing Old would have been one of those songs where maybe I wouldn't have related to it quite as much at the time, unless I, really had it in my teenage brain that turning 16 was growing old. But yeah, this one hits home. It really does. I think the best of us this one will get to us a little bit. And then they finish it off with the title track, Lighting Up the Sky. Another solid rock song to finish off the album. Great solid finish to the album as a whole. This is a great way to finish it off. And I can honestly see these 3 songs collectively being the last 3 songs that are played at any of their concerts going forward, at least, pending an encore performance. I could see this being the main original set. These 3 tracks would be a beautiful way to end that particular set off. They are played well in conjunction with each other. Upon multiple listens, I was able to get that same feeling over and over again that if I was at the show, like, yeah, I'd be absolutely satisfied if that's the way it was coming to an end. Of course, you'd be anticipating that one last ride, that encore performance that everybody wants afterwards with some of the hits from the previous albums, of course. But what a great way to finish this album off, and a great way for them to go forward. And you know what? If this is your final album, Godsmack, then all I can say is thank you, and thank you for everything you've put out, everything you've put forward, the great shows that you've put on, and, allowing me to, to share in the experience of what you created over these years. Yeah, it's been an awesome ride for sure. And I absolutely am glad I get the opportunity to talk about this album, what could be the 8th and final studio album from Godsmack right here on the Bravado. Yeah, lyrically great and personal, heartfelt album as well too. It's got a lot of rock, a lot of beats, a lot of anthem. This one, it's just well structured, well put together. It's a testament to the skills and the maturity level that this band has shown over the years and everything like that. It's just better and better with each passing year with their abilities musically, creatively, and lyrically as well too. They are a fantastic band. They've done a lot of great things and they put out a lot of great music over their time. Thank you, Godsmack, for everything that you've done. Absolutely love this album. And again, if it is the final album, then farewell to one of the best hard rock bands, not only of all time, but again, definitely of my time, but probably of all time as well too. But hey, Godsmack's lighting up the sky. You guys, have you heard it? Have you listened to it? What do you think of it? I want to know in the comment section below. What did you think? What was your favorite songs off the album? Are you looking forward to maybe seeing Godsmack on tour one last time before they call it a day on their musical careers? Because I know I sure am. I'm hoping it'll happen sooner rather than later. It'll be a great final time seeing these guys live. What else do you want to see on the Bravado coming up? You got to let me know. Reach out in the comment section below or find me anywhere on our local establishment, the Video Bros Network as well too. And make sure, because we're on YouTube, to like, follow, and subscribe. I can't stress it enough. Subscribe. There's a lot of you watching, but not as many subscribing. And the subscribes, they only take you a quick moment. They help us out big time so that we can continue to produce the great content that we're producing right here at our local establishment. I want to thank you all for tuning into this edition of the Bravado. Rock on, all you wonderful people, and we'll see you very soon. Take care out there.